Well, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Savannah, Georgia. We're here this morning. We're going to have a history lesson this morning. We're going to do Black history at its finest this morning with our brother Jamal Torre. Good morning to you, brother Torre, and tell everybody about yourself very quickly this morning. So we're going to jump on this morning.
It's not a good morning for me. It's not a good morning. I thought you were gonna do the show at Kim's Cafe. I was ready for some pancakes. That's why I went there. I just went to home, man. So that's why I'm in the car. I thought we were gonna be doing something at Kim's Cafe. That's why I was like, so I said to everybody out there, Jamal is here on MLK Junior Boulevard. So I'm gonna probably be driving. Just go to my mama house because I thought, I swear to God, I'll go get me a veggie omelet that's scrambled and have me some pancakes. And I went in that rushing in. I'm like looking for brother Jerome Irwin. I'm like, where he at? Everybody looking at me. So yeah, it's not a
I
good morning.
no, I apologize because
Oh, but oh no.
I had some treatment yesterday,
Uh huh.
and I didn't sleep none at all last night, and I just woke up, so I jumped on from right in.
Okay, so it's all it's fine. I just said I ain't getting my pancakes, but y'all know, that's why I was so excited when I was invited to be on the show. That's why I talked to you yesterday. So I said I know, because I said I know I'm gonna be eating tomorrow morning. I know I'm gonna have. So I know what I'm gonna have. So yeah, Jamal Teray, if we tell folks we go history and culture. And see, I just got like RG just now. Because RG, he be wiping his nose, he be like that. I don't know why. See, I can't be around them. I was like, just like that. I did just like that. I just looked at myself like, I don't wipe I'm like, that's RG. That's what RG be doing. He be doing that.
Yeah.
So I know he producing the show, but I'm just saying. But we give history and culture, and that's what we believe. And what I share, folks, I had these groups of people, educators from around the country yesterday. We did a tour for them, a journey for them. And I told them, I said, we plant seeds for change. And I was in Crawfordville this weekend and was up there Saturday and Sunday for people with having a retreat. And so the same thing I told them, we plant seeds for change. We just give you all the information for you to take it to another level. It's not about me. It's about me just being able to pass the information on, and you take it to whatever level you want to take it to. So that's what we do in history and culture, because, again, that's what we say. We're about involving human rights work. That's what it is. Because, again, about your humanity, you got to know your story about who you are. And so that's why we say people think history is something in the past. History is not the past. History is your present. It's your present. It's like what's going on. And everything is tied to history. If you want to talk about nuclear bombs and stuff like that, that's history. And so you got to have the understanding of that. And so guess what? By having that understanding, passing on, all that is history. So that's just something in a nutshell to folks.
Well, that's right. If we don't know where we come from, we don't know where we're going. Number one, we don't know how to set the pace to where we want to be. But I tell you, we we have just celebrated what some of us have celebrated. I ain't gonna say we celebrated. Some of us have celebrated. You're on mute again. You're on mute, Jamal. You're on mute. You're on mute. You're on mute. We're having just a bit of technical difficulties, but we'll be right back with you.
Need your garments cleaned with care and with a professional touch? Then bring them to One Price Cleaners in Garden City at the Old Farmers Market on Highway 80. Service you can count on.
I'm Patty Hewitt, and I'm worried about our future.
Last one?
I think about my grandkids and the belief that they deserve every opportunity. And what you deserve, what coastal Georgia deserves, is someone who cares more about their community than about corporate profits and big pharma.
I'll see you later.
All right, thank you. Small business owners and hardworking Georgians are the heart of our community.
Have a good day.
Not CEOs, not lobbyists, not shareholders. But who's taking care of them? It's time to ask yourself, what do you want from your government? This is our year to stand up against what we know is wrong. No more DC politicians invading our home life. No more racism that kills dreams and spreads violence. And no more corporate greed at the expense of workers' rights and our environment.
So what would be the most meaningful help to you?
I've spent the last 8 years working behind the scenes, mobilizing our communities for positive change. And while that is really important work, I can't stand by and allow the same tired politicians to run this country, the same ones who've neglected the real needs of Georgians. I'm ready to take our seat in Congress so I can fight for you and your families.
I vote for you.
Thank you, my darling. I love you. This isn't about party lines. This is about voting for a better future for more Georgians. Enough is enough.
Okay, now you're back.
Yeah, so as I was sharing, I was unmuting myself, but it's the system. Don't come. Everybody, HBJ followed the system. We unmuted ourselves, but then the browser was disconnected. So that's what was going on. I want everybody to understand that. So when the community connection said what they said, they were slandering us and they were libeling us, and we think we're going to sue. That's what we're going to sue. Not you, Brother Jerome, but we're going to sue this community connection. That's what we're going to do.
I hear you, my brother. Well, you know, they say that if we seek freedom, we have to do it spiritually. When we have been a spiritual people for many years, you have been a person who has been enlightened to be able to, given the grace, being able to follow and keep up with a history that nobody else, like nobody else. So we want you to share some of the things about from the 4th of July on up to Juneteenth in your words.
Okay. And so you said something, and I had to go back. I had to go back to something on last week. Last week, Can Park, Jackson Park neighborhood had a emergency community neighborhood association meeting, and we had various folks from law enforcement there. The chief of police was there. Gunther was right there, along with Assistant Chief Gavin, Captain Heron, and so other folks. And then Alderwoman Stella Shabazz was there also. She was the one who also put out a flyer with regards to that. And but people were thinking that was something done by all of them, when actually it was the people who rose up with regards to that. But somebody out there probably said, well, why are you saying all that right now? One of the things that happened, it came out of the neighborhood and came out of the people. But one of the people said something about, in this text thread that we're a part of, they said that we need to have a prayer vigil. We need to go and pray. So I didn't say in that group, I was going to say, we do pray. We pray all the time. That's what we do.
All the time.
We engage in prayer. Just like you said, Brother Jerome, you had said that, Reverend Jerome, you had said that we are praying, but we understand that that is a given. That has been a part of who we are. But then the element that we miss, that oftentimes when you think about the prayer, is about the action. We need to walk with regard to that. We need to walk with regard to that. We need the action. So it's not just about talking about it, it's about and praying about it, it's about now having action with regard to that. And that action comes in various forms. And part of the action is knowing your story, just like with regard to the prayer. You know your prayers, you say your prayer, you recite your prayers, but that means that you have to take some action with regards to you and your prayers in real time. Like people like to say real time, in real time and in future time. And so we look at that. And so we look at a group of people that were brought here, who understood that the condition that they were put in was not the condition that they're supposed to have. Here go people who understand the humanity. And some of us, we have absolutely lost our humanity for various reasons, a multitude of reasons as to why we have lost our humanity. And I tell folks, I call it our Africanity. We have lost that specialness about who we are as a people and how we deal with one another with regards to that. So when they are brought here, these people know that they're not creatures. They know that they're not animals. They know that they're not beasts of burdens. They know that they are human beings. And as such as being human beings, then there's some things that are definitely tied to them. We didn't need the United States Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and the Bill of Rights to go and tell us the rights that we're supposed to have. We knew about our God-given rights as human beings. And that's what they stood on. So they were fighting to maintain their humanity. But what happened is that a diabolical system of oppression has been hitting African people for some 600 years now. From the 1400s up into the 2020s, it has been hitting us and has been destroying a part of some of our people. Destroying a part of some of our people, like I say, not all of us, but a lot of us have been destroyed by the insanity and by the hatred that has been thrown on them like garbage and like feces and like urine, like they're nothing. So that's why when we talk about freedom, from the very moment that Black folks were brought here to the Americas, they have been seeking freedom. The first freedom fighters that we know of African people occur 1526. And they occur in this area that we know as Georgia and South Carolina. Coming out of Florida, these Africans now at some point get with Native people and fight for their freedom. So again, we look at freedom from that standpoint right there. So we talking about 1500s, they're fighting for freedom. So now we come to say 1700s, and what we know so proudly is the colony of Georgia and the colony of South Carolina. You have one of the greatest movements that basically begin to shed light on why they oppress us even today. And that's why, again, history. When you understand the dynamics of some of this, that I tell folks, when you understand the origins of it, you understand how it evolves. You know where it comes from. So in 1739, you have Africans who are having a march for freedom. 1739 in southern South Carolina, and they plan on basically freeing Africans in southern South Carolina, coastal Georgia, which is inclusive of what we are right now here in Savannah, and then going through coastal Georgia, then going down to Florida for freedom. That's what they're fighting, they're seeking it. But what happens for us that's tied to Savannah is that effort gets thwarted by somebody by the name of Colonel Bull, whom Bull Street in Savannah is named for. And I tell people, I say, if they had killed him, guess what? We would not be in this position right now because they were not able to kill him, so he was able to sound the alarm. So that was the effort of freedom right there. Then we look at coming to this thing that we call the American Revolution. And guess what? Black folks are also seeking freedom too, on both sides of this effort right here. But the side I'm going to go to is the side with regards to those who want this place to still remain a colony of the British. That is, again, part of our story here in Savannah, because you're going to see the pastors of First African Baptist Church and First Bryan Baptist Church, Father George Lyle and Mother Hannah Lyle, his wife, they are also wanting freedom too, but not freedom for the United States, but freedom for them to be citizens of the British Empire, for them and their children not to be held in captivity. So we see them. We see Brother Amos, who also leaves from this area, and he now goes to the Bahamas. And so what Father Lyle and Mother Lyle and Brother Amos would do, they'll start Black churches in the Caribbean, in the Bahamas, and in Jamaica. And so people in Jamaica know their story is tied here to Savannah. Some people in Bahamas, some of them know, but not all of them. but they know their story tied right here to Savannah. Then you look at black folks like David George also, who's a part of First African, First Brian. They not go to Canada. But not only go to Canada, they leave from there and go to Sierra Leone because it was all tied to that desire for freedom. The desire for freedom. So some of y'all might be not picking up on what I'm saying. I'm just talking to y'all, telling y'all about freedom. That's all I'm having a conversation, a mere conversation on freedom that has now expanded 2 centuries. That's still a part of who we are. And we look at the folks right here in this area. We look at the first black nation in the world, Haiti, that Mother Haiti. Part of the origins of Mother Haiti is tied to this soil right here, where you have black men who are fighting for the United States to become a nation, who are from Haiti, and one of them later becomes a king, the king of Haiti, of Mother Haiti, and that's our King Henri Christophe. So again, freedom and liberation. And then we move on with regard to Africans on what we know is the who escape out of this area, who go into Florida, that they now become known as the Seminoles. And so Africans out of coastal Georgia, out South Carolina and Georgia will become Seminoles. And so that one, Seminoles are not just Native Americans, there's black folks also. You have African Seminoles. And so some people get that all twisted up too at times. So again, what the whole deal is about freedom. And they fight the United States to make sure that they're able to maintain their freedom, and what they call Seminole Wars, that people say should be called the Gullah Wars. So we see that's gone to 1830s, and then we come to something called the Big Shoot. The Big Shoot in Gullah means Civil War. And so what happened, Hilton Head Island taken over early during the war. Hilton Head now becomes the headquarters for the Department of Army in the South. So right here, Hilton Head Island, under control of the Union Army. But then also, we're going to see a place called Tybee Island and Cockspur Island, which is Fort Pulaski. Now,
let's go to a quick break, and we'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Richard Coleman, and I'm running for the office of Sheriff of Chatham County. And when I'm elected, I promise to inspect what I expect. Chatham County, it's time for a change, and that change is me, Richard Coleman.
so we are back. Can you hear me? All right. I had logged out. I got logged back in. I came. Okay. All right.
Need your garments cleaned with care and with a professional touch? Then bring them to One Price Cleaners in Garden City at the Old Farmers Market on Highway 80. Service you can count on.
All right, we're back with you. We're trying to clear up some technical difficulties. We don't know what's going on, but we have some technical difficulties this morning. But we're gonna get this show. We're gonna have this show done. You will get the information coming out of the vulnerable community this morning. We'll get Brother Torrey back in just a second. Robert, can you come in? We're talking about black history this morning, and we have one of the finest black history historians around, and that's Brother Jamal Touré. If we can hook back up, we will in just a couple of seconds.
So I'm hoping that now the mic is picking up now.
Yes.
All right. So what the deal is, when a call comes in, I have to go and try to set it up for the focus to do not disturb. That knocks me out, and then when I have to come back in, then the streaming platform won't pick up the new mic. So that deal is. So, but we were talking about, and look, Africans are fighting for their freedom that we know similar, and we move on. We came to here, the Tabi and Conqueror Island, the Civil War, Black freedom. And so I'm going right there to this point because that's what I brought us to. It's sad that, again, well, I got to say it like this. Again, and some of y'all have heard me say, I got to put out my African verb. Our African proverb goes, a mosquito will not teach an elephant to be a fin. A mosquito teaches an elephant to be a male. And here you go, elephants walking around trying to be mosquitoes. And that's no problem when we talk about the hunter will always be the hero until the lion has a historian. So black folks in particular are up into with regard to the Juneteenth. And one of the things Sam Carter, when I discussed some of this with him last month, he said the only thing the deal Texas just was loudest with regard to emancipation celebration. Right. So that's why people talk about Juneteenth. I tell folks here, Juneteenth doesn't want any because, and in fact, we celebrate in Georgia. In Georgia has the oldest emancipation celebration in the entire country, and that is called May 29th. 29th is celebrated in Thomaston, Jefferson County, Georgia. They started 1866. So that is the oldest celebration of emancipation of free in the entire country. And guess what? In Georgia, and do we even know about it? Now, some of y'all are saying that they say nothing about it. But guess what? That's why when I go and say how when you stop telling your how you got the hunter telling you your story or the mosquitoes telling you who you are, guess what? Black folks in Georgia did May 29th. They went to Thomaston, Georgia. Something called the Central Georgia Railroad that was housed, that got started in Savannah. The Central Georgia Railroad, special box cars, railroad cars that would take people from around the entire state of Georgia to Thomaston, Georgia. That was a huge mission. But now guess what? As black folks in Georgia, who was astute about history and culture, They'd be like, I ain't know nothing about it. But you run around here breaking Juneteenth like it's all of that. I'm telling people, I say all the time, I tell folks, listen here. That's why I don't get concerned about titles and positions. That don't mean nothing. Because there can be brothers and sisters who don't have the school, that have that education, who now know what time it is. But they do sometimes, y'all bully them, you force them not to tell their story. So that's why people hear me talk about also my job. When I do presentations, I say, listen, I got the greatest to know more about history and culture than the so-called. Okay. I thought I did this. Okay. We're still on?
Yeah, we on. We on.
All right, that's what I'm saying. When I'm at, we still I thought the do not disturb, so I had that. But in Thomaston, Georgia, we got the longest celebration of freedom right there, Thomaston, Georgia. But guess what? Black folks in Georgia celebrated May as a month with regards to emancipation, and also April. Why is that? Because on April 13th, April 13th or April 11th, that's when an order is given at Fort Pulaski that black folks in Georgia and South Carolina, in Georgia, should be free. And then in May, they now expanded to not just Tybee Island area, but they now go and say, listen, Georgia, South Carolina, and Florida shall be free. So black folks in Georgia, right in this area in Savannah, they were celebrating April and also celebrating May as time periods for freedom. So how you like? I tell folks, how do you get caught up because somebody else is doing that? Yes, the people in Texas did what they're supposed to do. People in Texas were celebrating who they are, celebrating their story. But then why does some of the rest of us not want to celebrate our story? Because we buy into all this madness. So and again, just to go and let y'all know, people like go and focus on this stuff about June 19th, where people finally found a freedom. Guess what? In Kentucky and Tennessee, it didn't happen for them until August 1865. So how you all gonna say that June was they were the last ones? It was in August, and some of it went up to October and December 1865. So for them to officially have freedom. So again, that's why I'm like saying to folks like, yo, why we get caught? Because you know what that's about. Again, Texas, they allow, they put it out there, and they made sure it was known. They didn't shy away from it, but the rest of us shied away from it. So that's why I tell people about Juneteenth. I don't go and say Juneteenth if they were the last ones to know. So if you go look at it, and that's why, and that's why I'm so stunned about this, that people in these other states like Kentucky, like Tennessee, like why they don't be as loud also to talk about this right here. So again, it's a system. So again, all of these emancipation celebrations, I tell folks, if you want to celebrate Juneteenth, go ahead and do that. That's cool. But also celebrate your own. Oh my God, Jamal, what did you talk about in the beginning? You talk about humanity. When I respect my humanity, I respect who I am and where I am from. I like where I'm from, and I love where I'm from, and I acknowledge where I'm from, who helped make me who I am. But guess what? When you don't know who you are, you look soft. You look away. I don't know. See, that producer put me backstage because I looked so far away. He ain't got mad with me. He put me backstage. I just did like that. Or is that the power of HBJ? That way he did. So I'm just saying, why would I look at Windsor Forest like all of that? Why would I look at beaches, all that? Why would I look at Tompkins like all of that when I'm from HBJ? Should I not celebrate who I am? So, but here go these people in Texas celebrating who they are. And then black folks in Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi. In fact, Mississippi, I think they call it May 9th Day, May 9th. So, something like that. So again, and here go people in South Carolina, North Carolina, and in South Carolina, they celebrate January 1st, just like North Carolina. North Carolina is January 1st also. So, and in Savannah, Georgia, we do Emancipation Day here in Savannah, Georgia. And Reverend Jerome Irwin participates in it at times because he's a minister. The ministers get together, but get people not realizing that, again, this was part of the time that people were celebrating emancipation. But then in Georgia, like I said, we did April and May also. And then you go to Florida. Florida got like May 20th. So all these celebrations, people celebrating who they are. And so now I throw it out there and say, when are we going to reclaim our story? You can't get mad with young people and the children if they don't know their story, if the elders and the adults are not telling them their story. And now I'm throwing it out there now. I'm going to hurt some people feeling about this, and people that talk about young people and stuff like that, and then they want to include young adults in it, like they don't have no understanding. I'm like, listen here, the young adults also are responsible for this. So don't go and think it's just merely the elders. And when I say adults, I'm talking about people in their 50s, 40s, 60s, like that. I'm talking people in their 20s. Once you are 21 years old, 25 years old, you got some information too that you are not using also that then harms young people. So that when I talk about young people, I'm talking about children. I'm talking about minors. That's what I'm talking about, the young people. I'm not talking about no adults that are in their 20s who got the right to vote and all the other stuff like that and got the right to drink alcohol, all that. I'm not talking about y'all. I include them in the whole adult game too. Now, some of y'all may not do that because somebody say, well, they're 28 years old, such and so. I'm like, and they got enough sense to know what's right and what's wrong. They got enough sense to understand. They know exactly what the deal is. So when they hear misinformation, they know whether to pass on that misinformation or not, or get rid of that misinformation. When they choose to pass it on, guess what? So I'm saying right now, so if the adults and the elders are not telling the young people, that is the minors, about who they are, guess what? Then you can't blame them. You got to look at yourself. And so that's right now. We talk about Juneteenth and all of that, and we talk about these celebrations, but we don't celebrate who we are. And so, of course, Frederick Douglass came up with his speech that he addressed people like on July 5th, and what he talked about, what does to the Negro, what does the 4th of July mean to the Negro? Because, again, you're looking at the captivity, and just like Reverend Jerome, you like said to me, like, yeah, July 5th. And, Frederick Douglass brings that up. Like, what does it mean to us, to our ancestors when they held in captivity? But it also goes to show the hypocrisy. And so now, since you all got me on this thing with regards to talking about freedom, guess what? When we talk about this freedom now goes to who we are today, right now. We heard somebody make a statement before the Republican National Convention that America is not a racist country. That is absolutely shameful and disrespectful to the legacy of African people here. Racism has been inculcated in this country right here from the very beginning. And so when we play this, we are playing the game of the oppressors. And some of us, and that's why I say to folks, black so-called conservative Republicans say nothing to stand up for freedom of people. And I got to throw it out there too. Black so-called moderates or liberals, or even might be conservatives, in other political parties. That's why some people say, well, you didn't say nothing about Democrats. I'm saying it's all the other political parties. If it's independent, if it's libertarian, if it's whatever, communist parties, if again the Green Party, that we find black liberals and black so-called liberals and black so-called moderates say nothing to fight on behalf of black people when they not get called out by the Caucasian members of those parties, that they think that they got to get along with them, as opposed to not being a voice for the people. If you are speaking up for the people, then that don't apply to you. But it applies to the ones of you who sit right there and allow your friends in the Democratic Party and the other parties to not go and do this stupid stuff and not stand up for us or make it all political, that no, y'all got to wait. No, we don't have to wait, because you don't wait for other people. And so black Republicans in particular, it is so shameful that they go with the almost pet mentality. But now that goes right back to freedom, because what happened in the 70s, that black Republicans were now pushed to that line that basically for you all to be legitimate in our eyes, you got to tout the line that we say. You can't have any different view with regard to that. And that is shameful, and that's problematic. And so I just throw it out there and say, hey, listen, we need folks that now be on top of their game and understand what this struggle for freedom is continuous. That's why we say, our thing was La Lucha Continua. The struggle continues. Victory is certain. That's the other part. The victory is certain. And so that's what we're doing. We are making it a sure thing that God has told us in our prayers that victory will be ours. But we got to have the action to it. See, some of y'all ain't know I'm going to tie back into that. That's why it ain't about me just praying. It's about me not taking the action and then knowing the story, as you were saying, my brother, that put it on out there. That again, when we talk about freedom, that our freedom is not something just for today. It's for tomorrow. But it comes out of what we have gone through previously, and to use that knowledge from the past with regard to that. And so we must fight people who look just like us, because sometimes, as I said, they become pets to these other people who are seeking to oppress us and oppress our people. And so we need to have change. So you told me to go on. That's why I was doing that. And I know if you want to interject some things or say some things, because I know some people looking at this right now, they say Jamal just talking. He won't let Jerome get a word in, because I know how some of these Tompkins High people are. I know how some of these Windsor Forest people are. I know how some of these Richard Arnold people are. Some of these Saul C. Johnson people, these Savannah High people, these Beach people, these Groves people. I know how some of them are. And now I got somebody coming at me talk about, y'all don't say nothing about St. Pius. I say, folks say something about St. Pius. You got people look at the show who went to St. Pius, but it's on them to say something. See there? That goes right back to it. And I had to jump at her on last Thursday about that. I had to let Louise Franklin know. Don't be coming at me about that. If y'all ain't a certain y'all St. Piousness, then don't be coming at me. Yeah. So I say something about St. Pius right now.
Well, I tell you, Brother Terrell, we needed to hear what was said this morning. You see, some people don't believe in expounding on the truth. And I know that you are one of the people that will expound on the truth, and you tell the truth. And, you know, I've been a person that I seek information. But a lot of us don't seek information. A lot of us will sit back and rely on what somebody else tells us, and that is a big downfall. I was so mad the other day, a few months ago. I was out there doing voter registration, and the guy told me, he said, "Well, I asked him, I said, 'Are you registered voter?' He said, 'No. My boss says I don't need to vote,' and all I could do was put my hand in my pocket." Because you know what was about to happen. But in this day and age, somebody telling you, "My boss says I don't need to vote." That was shameful.
His boss ain't got his best interest at heart. That's what his boss wants, to always be his boss and not have him as an equal. That's one of the things right. I tell folks. I share information with folks. Not to try to lord over people or anything like that. But again, like I said, for you to take it to another level. So that means that now what I do, I look at what you're doing based on that information, and I marvel at that. And I'm able to tell that part of it too. So again, that means that, but if it's about me not wanting you to be equal, then I'm going to make sure I try to keep you away from certain things that work to your advantage. That's what you said. That's why I look like, what the world that he legitimately thought. And he accepted that because that was his boss? Come on now.
We have that same problem when you're talking to a group that works at a particular location, and you're trying to organize them for the betterment of their job, and they're telling you, well, the boss say this, they gonna do this and they gonna do that. If they were gonna do it, they'd have been did it. And if they promising you this and you're not organized, then they're gonna take it away from you when they give it to you.
And also, they've already had intentions at times of thoughts to get rid of you anyway, or to do things to you anyway. So you thinking that you just biding your time, you just coasting along, you just sailing along, but then you're not realizing, wait a minute, regardless of what I do, they were going to do something to me anyway. Just a matter of time. Yes. Yes. Because that's how evil functions. I'm saying, because if somebody, and I was going to tell you, the same people who talk about prayer, if people are righteous, if people are good, if they're glorious, then they don't have a problem with you having a different opinion, having different thoughts. But if they are not righteous, then guess what? They have a problem with you having different opinions, different thoughts. Yeah. Yeah. And so that's why I tell people, that's why it comes down to us constantly being vigilant about this right here, making sure people know who they are, because it's about empowering, because You want for your brother what you desire for yourself, and that's spiritual. That is religious. That comes from God. You desire for your brother what you desire for yourself. You desire for your sister that what you desire for yourself. When you don't desire that for your brother, your sister, then that's right there is a problem right there. That's a sign. That's a sign. And that goes right back to when we talk about freedom. Talk about freedom. Here go black folks, and I'm going. And again, y'all might say I'm picking on them. I am picking on them because I want some of y'all to understand that that's why when these black Republicans go and make excuses for oppression, guess what? They don't desire for their brother and their sister what they desire for themselves. They want to be up here, and they want you to be right here. But they think these other people are up all the way up here. So that's why they're closer to them. Yeah, insane. That, again, they don't desire for you what they desire for themselves. Again, being one up. And that's why, again, and that's not freedom. That is still continue. That is still captivity. And that you can play the game, so you can try to talk about God, but you are ungodly. You're not godlike. You are ungodly. Because God, that's what God ordains. That's right. You play the game. You make this distinction. You know, you make this separation. You know, you play a mental twister. That's what you do.
You know, Brother Teray, with the history of Savannah, a lot of our young folk don't realize they're right down on the foot of what is that, Bay and Price Street, where I know you know where the tunnels used to be down there. That they closed the tunnels up. That they brought our people in on the ships and brought them in and carried them through the tunnels, and they don't realize that.
Well, I'm gonna say this, that I don't even have to go to that stuff right there. This stuff was open and notorious. They sold people right on River Street. As soon as they got them, they sold them right there on River Street. And so now, oh my God, I just did that RG thing again. Oh my God, I did that Windsor Forest thing. I just did my note. Oh my God, what is this? I can't be a part of this no more. I'm like, I hit my nose. Like, I'm about to make a point. I got to hit my nose. Oh, my God. God, Jesus. But anyway, that this thing, ATR Media Group, we're going to get you off of the slander. But ATR Media Group and others, that this stuff is open and notorious. It wasn't like, you know, because people like talk about the tunnels and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, they sold black folks right on the, as soon as they banned, they brought them, they saw them right there.
That's right.
So they saw them right there. It's all right there, right in the front. They ain't got to go nowhere. But then also now go and talk about, you know, and some of y'all heard me talk about this, you know, but some people have not, so I'll let y'all know. But you had the March, M-A-R-T, March. They had Negro March here. But don't think it's just Savannah with Negro March. They had Negro March around the entire United States. They had a Negro March in New York City. So, again, that's why I'm like saying, but we get caught up. That's why I say, I don't try to mystify none of this right here. I'm like, but how many of y'all know where the Negro March are? And those buildings are right there in your face. You got them right there. You got them right there in City Market. You got Negro March right there in City Market. March, where they want this. So all that right there, and then you got Tanji's Tavern across the street where they had yards and back yards, just like you know about lumber yards. They had Negro yards where you stockpile Negroes. People look at me like, well, I said, yeah, you stockpile Negroes, but that's on Bay Lane. So that and the structures, those sites are still right there. But guess what? We don't even talk about that. That's why I say I go to, and people know, like I had the people I had on yesterday. Bam! I hit them right in their face with the stuff right in their faces, and they're looking at me like, and you trying to tell us that people in Savannah don't know this? I say, right. You see how insane it is? That's why I say, y'all know more about here than the people who live all their lives know who died here. So right there, the stuff is all in our faces, and we acting fool. Because guess what? All we doing is just praying, and we ain't looking and taking no action. That's why I go and say, yo, check this out. When you know this stuff, you ain't even got to make no stuff up. Your history is so great and it's so voluminous that the stuff, when you hear the realness of it, you start saying, wow. And that was tied to also, when you talk about the same thing about freedom, that can you imagine these folks being brought here who understand that they're human beings and not people trying to reduce them down to what we see today? and because how some people function right now. That's going to go through. And so I'm going to throw it out there again. The black Republicans, the black Democrats, Libertarians, Independents, Green Party, whatever party, Communist Party, Marxist Party, Leninist Party, whatever you're a part of, moderates and liberals within those parties, and you don't stand up for black folks, guess what? That's what you are. You are the creature that they wanted. All of them are creatures that they want. Never being independent, never being about a luta continua, that the struggle continues and victory is certain, victory is ours. You don't even think like that. You think, I got to curry favor with them to get some crumbs. I get some crumbs, and that's better than the rest of the people who don't get no crumbs at all. And so we look at what's happening in Sudan right now. People, like when I was up in Lawrenceville, people asking questions. They said, we know that your hair, you got your hair dyed. We know that ain't something about no beautification right there. I said, that's right. I said, we got black children that are in you're talking about captivity. You got black children who are in mines right now, 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old, who the adults ain't doing nothing about in the United States. I'm talking black adults in the United States. Remember I talked about that 20 going on up.
That's
20
right.
up and 30, 40, 50, 60 ain't doing nothing for them. They're in mines right now. They are starving right now. And then you got them in Sudan, where these are people who pour bull urine on their heads and turn their hair blonde because, again, that's tied to them and what they do in their culture. And so I'm like saying, we got to bring attention to this right here. I said, how y'all are so aware and so astute. Y'all are so on top of y'all game, and y'all got black folks over there right now who are eating sand. You got people, parents right now saying, my children are eating clay for them to live. Again, people look just like me and you, Reverend Jerome, Brother Jerome, who look just like us. Their children are eating clay. And then let's not get into the sexual violence that has happened to the women and the girls over there also in the Sudan. It is a holocaust happening, and nobody's saying nothing. That's why, again, when you are free a free man, a free woman of the city, you know how to respect your humanity and the people who look just like you. And so that goes right back to when we talk about Juneteenth. You know, other people, they tout their stuff. They put it out there. Texas did what they did. But the rest of us sit silent. And right now in Africa, you got people over there starving, people not being mutilated, being killed, people who don't have any opportunities. But you got your cell phones, you got your laptops, you got all those devices, all because you got black children who are 4 and 5 years old going into mines to get the coltan, get the cobalt, getting the bauxite, and all of that being done. And guess what? We don't have no concern for their humanity. We have no concern. And that's why we're supposed to be making these outcries. That's why we're supposed to be talking about. That's why Camp Park, Jackson Park. That's why they did what they did. It was the people who did that. As I had to get on some reporters, I was like, listen, you interviewing this man over here. He wasn't the one that did this right here. It was this older sister right here who led this right here. Y'all ignoring the older sister. I'm like, that's who you need to be talking to. And they're looking at me, and guess what? Who were the ones? They were young adults. And I'm looking at them. And so I had to then, and I contacted one of the reporters there, one of the anchors there. I said, listen, they're busy talking to so-and-so. They should have been talking. Because, again, why were we there? Because the community rose up. The community said, it just ain't about no praying. We got to take some action. But now what we got to do now, the next key is the follow-up. And that's why we don't follow up. That's why the first black celebration of independence, guess what? They still go on. But everybody else is forgotten about it. But the people in Texas continue to put out their story. But here go us, we stop. Because guess what, Reverend Jerome, you went and said it. Because my boss told me. My boss told me this right here. My boss told me that. My boss said this right here. My boss. And so guess what? Your boss done miseducated you and misled you, and now got you still in captivity. So it just ain't about June 5th. It ain't about Juneteenth. Guess what? Black folks still in captivity right now. Mentally, psychologically, physically, spiritually. Yes, still in captivity.
Well, my brother, I tell you what. You have enlightened a multitude of people today. We appreciate you on short notice coming on, but I know that you are capable, you're able, and you're a willing young man. Now, one day next week, I'll have to buy you breakfast.
That's why I was gonna do that like that. Kim's Cafe right across the street. That's why I'm right here, Kim's Cafe. That's why I'm waiting. I had in my mind. I had just like this visions of sugar plums dancing in the head. I had visions of veggie omelet dancing in my head with pancakes. I had that in my head.
I hear you. Yeah, that medicine though. That medicine had me wore out, and I said, I bet not try to even drive this morning.
Yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. That's about being safe.
Yeah.
Unlike, like, see, if it was somebody, like, but I just say this, if it was, say, Julius Hall or Dr. Robert Bryant, they will force you to come out. Reverend Alan Manning, they'll force you to come out. See, because, see, that they have no consideration. See, I have considerations. That's why I was like, yes. So, yes, sir.
And you didn't go to Tompkins High School. I did.
That's right. But see, I didn't call out high school. I just want to call out the names of the individuals. You had called out the high school, but I ain't had say nothing. So that's why I want the community people to understand that, and the ATR Media Group people to understand that he called it out. Wasn't me. He called it out. He called them out. He called them out.
And see, I went to Tompkins, so I can talk about the Tompkins people because we know what we all stick together. See.
Yeah, yes, sir. That's true. That's true. That's true. That they stick together, right or wrong, they stick together.
I wasn't gonna say that part.
Now, I'm just saying. I just said it, right or wrong.
Yeah. What that Winter Forest is?
I can't even read that. It's some type of gibberish. It's called gibberish. It's called gibberish. I can't even make that out. It's unintelligible. We can't make that out. I can't see what it says. I can't see what it says. What does it say? But I know if it says something, I think it's almost demonic. It's almost demonic. Yeah, it's demonic.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are so glad to have y'all with us this morning. You've been on listening to the vulnerable community. And we are so glad that you got a history lesson today from one of the best historians in the South. And he may be one of the best historians in the whole United States. But he knows the story, and he will tell the story. And we're going to arrange, before you go, though, tell them about Day Clean, my brother.
All right, we have various composers of Day Clean, the African Soul. That is our activism and also our living history and our presentations. We do presentations. We go wherever. That's why I said I was just there in Crawfordville, so they wanted the African Spirit to come up there and give some of the history and connection and involving the groups of people up there. They were dealing with financial literacy and also investments and all that, and the African American Muslims. And so we did that for them. They had a 3-day retreat there. And then we were up to Dr. Mildred McLean, Citizen Environmental Justice, had their Southeastern Regional, environmental conference up there in Atlanta the week before. We did that for them. And we had people from around the entire country, and we're giving them history and culture about the environment. So that's what we do. We do that. Then we have Day Clean Journeys, which is our tour company. So we provide a variety of tours. We offer daily tours in the city, and then also outside we can do group tours outside the city. We go southern South Carolina, coastal Georgia, even to northern Florida. But I tell folks, I let my people in northern Florida and Hamlet, but we can cover all of that, and that's what we do. You can reach me at 912-220-5966, 912-220-5966. I tell folks, if you call, leave a message if need be, or you can text. That's one of the fastest ways to do that, and hit us up. Again, 912-220-5966, and we tell folks we'll give you information. You need somebody to come speak, present. People have me do it for family reunions, churches, all that. That's what we do. We've done it for weddings, homegoing services. We do all of that. That's what we do. History and culture. We empower our people. We are a human rights organization involved in history and culture. That's what we do with our museum in Riceboro, Georgia, Geechee Kunda. And so, and the colors that people see at Geechee Kunda, the first color they see at Geechee Kunda is red, because that's a sign of God right there. Red, like HBJ, Herschel Vespine Jenkins High School, 1800 East Duran Avenue, the #1 school here in Savannah, Chatham County, Georgia.
Here we go again. Oh, y'all having something Friday, aren't you?
Uh, uh, the ball is going to be. I think the ball is next week. The red and black
Okay.
ball.
No, I thought y'all had
Yeah, stop. Yeah. Well, what happened? See, Reverend Jerome, yes, he's invited because again, we had to invite some of y'all now. If some people are interested, contact me on Friday. There's going to be at the Civil Rights Museum, 10:30 a.m. at the Civil Rights Museum, 460 MLK Jr. Boulevard. But you need to contact me for me to have you in the number. And this is involving a Gullah Geechee environmental conversation regarding water. And certain people are invited to it because what the deal is about us having a conversation and discourse because we need people like Brother Jerome was saying, Reverend Jerome was saying, that sometimes people don't talk about it. And I had to invite people that I know are going to talk about it because we're going to have Queen Quet there. She's the hostess of this and some other folks. And we're doing water because just like last week, 52nd, and Montgomery Street flooded. But then also, you have parts on West Savannah flooded. Folks on the east side flooded. So that's on next week. So just to throw it on out there. So that's why I'm letting you know we're having a meeting on this Friday. But you have to contact me. You just because I've invited certain people. Not everybody's gonna be because again, we don't let everybody come to some because it's about us not having this real conversation. And a lot of people shying away from talking about these issues that, again, because we see in Taylorville, because that's why I knew people who are leaders who speak out. And guess what? I got them in the early 20s on up. I invited folks, but if they don't come, then guess what? We roll with it.
All right, my brother. Well, we're going to roll out of here right now because our time is up. And we're going to see everybody next Tuesday at 10 o'clock. We'll be right back here bringing more important information. Thank you again, Brother Torrey. Thank you, Brother Robert, for producing this show for us. And we'll see all of y'all next week. And, until then, God bless and peace.
And Dr.
I like that.